Hello, hello, hello. I'm back again. Thank you guys so much for being here, for coming in and listening to my podcast. I hope it's been of a great help, aid, entertainment, education, whatever it might have been for you. I hope it served you well. I really am very grateful for all of your love and support. I just wanted to make sure that I came on to preface this particular segment. As I go forward, we will be dealing with a lot of more mental health concerns and the aspects of what we need to do for ourselves in our psychology, energy work, mental health, and all those things as well. So, just to make sure it is made clear, I am not a licensed practitioner of any sort. I am not a medical. This is not medical advice. We're going to say it that way. So when you guys do, this is just my experience. This is just, my life story in a box, in a shell, if you will, of my experience. And yeah, I've been doing it for a while, so this is just how I've been able to grow. And so I hope that you can take it with a grain of salt, or if it's more amicable to you to take more, then great. However it serves you, I hope it serves you well. But until next time, I hope you guys enjoy the episode. Thanks a lot. Bye.
You see me just floating.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you all doing? I'm back again. This is your girl, Zena White, also known as Spirit. Welcome to Enter the Spirit. I am so excited to be here, as always, and I hope you guys have been enjoying your week so far. I got a bit of a cold or flu. I'm going to say cold because I think the flu normally lasts a little bit longer, but I don't know. My guard was down probably and ended up catching something. So I was down for the count for a little while. And so I had to kind of skip a week or so before this. So we are back and we are ready to do some more content. So from our last conversation, we talked more so about the implications of doing the shadow work and how that all works together. And I know that it can be a bit daunting to travel down those rabbit holes that you experience, and knowing that there's a bunch of trauma and other things you've had to deal with for so long that you kind of don't even want to trip those things up because it makes you feel anxious, uncomfortable, sometimes unstable, because the feelings are very disconcerting and very uncomfortable. So the way that I challenge you is to observe those things that make you feel uncomfortable, that make you feel distraught, and bear with it. And there are ways that you can do these things so that you don't feel so uncomfortable, so distraught by the actual undertakings of doing the shadow work. And that comes with practice, but you can dedicate yourself to those things and find the solutions that you need to keep yourself in calmer waters while you traverse through these more tumultuous energies that you go through. So, some of those things that you can work on throughout your process, but these are the things that the shadow work does touch on. And so one of the major things we have to do is to take our time because we want to be healed. And instant gratification is the norm of this world today, especially because everything is almost instant. And the work that you have to do for yourself is very indicative of what you do, but more so is very inclusive of you being very diligent and not being deterred, and even more so determined to feel the things you're supposed to feel as your individual self. And because I've had my own experiences, I know what you could be feeling is not the same as anyone else, but I know what you're feeling. For the most part, I've been there. And, dealing with trauma can be traumatizing. So you're hoping that for the most part, you're experiencing things that will inevitably change you for the better. And even if it doesn't feel like it's changing you now, it eventually will change and show its face that it can no longer hold you underwater and it can no longer have a hold upon you. I wouldn't say that it's holding you underwater, but it can feel like it is. But inevitably, you're not being held underwater. It's the pressure you sometimes put on yourself to do the deep sea diving when sometimes you need to come up for air. And that's okay in some aspect, but for more important aspects, it's better, in my opinion, to go with the flow and feel the emotions as they come up. And as you deal with those things, each individually at a time, you find more peace. There's a great book. Lord, what is this gentleman's name? I was not thinking about it until just now. I would have had it written down, but there's a great book. This guy, he's an energy healer. Very much like Mr. Joe Dispenza. He has a medical practice. His studies included something similar of the chiropractic, I believe. But inevitably, his story might be a little bit different, and his technique is a little bit strange to some people, but not so much. It makes more sense when you think about it. But he uses magnets, as we are electromagnetic beings, and a great associate of mine from some years ago would call it diaplectic. And I always knew or observed the fact that we are electromagnetic and also dealing with water. So the polarities of these things working together give us our Merkaba in a way, so that we can feel the energy fields that are without and within us. So it can be very difficult for people to observe, to discern. But in this book, he shows you how you have this technique that he uses where he's able to tap into your electromagnetic fields, but more so using a technique of the heart energy center. So I think you need to read the book, because I don't want to give you too much out of that book, because it's more so an analogy of what you're supposed to do that I'm more so hinting at. So if you want to grab the book, I'll try to either include it on the video, or I'll try to remember to put it back in here, because I see the cover of the book, but the book is not coming to my mind as of right now. But what I'll do is I'll try to link it back up either in the next conversation, or I'll link it below in the YouTube video. But the one thing that you have to be honestly aware of, and it's in his book as well, is doing these things one at a time. And I believe that's partly what I went through, knowing how to do these particular things. So my first trip into doing the shadow work, that's about 10 years ago, so around there. Really, it was more so, if you're young and you've had the experience of dealing with emotions, then it's a different story for some people. But for me, mostly being very in this mode of needing to get it done, I had to be a little bit more patient. Sorry, my throat is still hurting from the from this past weekend, but I'm like, I gotta get this done. So you have to do these things one at a time. So in his book, he basically says that it's in your field. So the way that I describe it is within my meditation, which we'll get into, because I do have a meditation course that's coming along, but for the most part, I wanted to get just this standard basis of things that help people in the know, get into the more of the know, if you will. And I don't want to get too long-winded, but So you have to tap into the spaces that your being is ready for your energy field, because your body traps these emotions. Your body is the one that lingers upon these particular emotions. So thinking of it as being these different physical states, physical properties, and these other properties that we know from our grade school years, they're much more looser when it's not as dense. So in air, you have much more fast-moving particles. Then you have water. Then you have more physical, more finite things such as your body. And because your body tends to trap these emotions inside of you, you have these areas that are almost as if it's more entangled with these particular things. So when you mess with your energy field and you touch in these spaces, depending on the person, I know for me personally, in my energy field, when there's something I can't touch on, well, it's a lot more freer now because of the years I spent working on this stuff for myself personally. But you're able to feel that these things are shifting in a certain way, and when they come forward towards you in your energy field, you can work on those particular things that present themselves to you. They're kind of like, hey, help, I need you to do these certain things for me. This is what I need to have done right now so I can feel better. So working on those particular emotions that present themselves first are always the best option versus kind of saying, Heisman, move. I'm working on the emotions I want. That's not how it works. You work on the ones that are presently in front of you, and you go forward from there, because then it gives you more expansion, more space, and it doesn't feel as uncomfortable as your energy field telling you that when you touch on those certain feelings or emotions or places that you shouldn't be touching on, that you are feeling agony, and those things kind of bother you because you're either not ready for that, or it takes a little bit more skill to actually hone those particular areas and to be more cultivated for that purpose of being settled back into its original state of being and place where it's supposed to be as well. So that's one of the many things you have to do, is to make sure that you are working with the energies that present themselves first and go from there. Once you do that, it becomes a lot more easier, because now you're more familiar with what works and what doesn't work, and you're not so conflicted by or traumatized by, going through the emotions that you're not supposed to touch on and how they don't work together. Oh my God, my throat is still hurting for real. I didn't know how long I could talk, because I had, today is the best day I've had so far where my throat doesn't bother me, but I hadn't really talked very much. So you guys are going to have to forgive me. I should have got some juice or something, but I thought I could just drink water because I thought it's just better for your throat. In any case, using induction techniques to help you feel more calm. The videos I'll start doing with more meditation techniques, things that help you calm your energy fields, your mind, so that you don't tap into stress or anxiety, but you tap into the space of being present, so that you don't feel that anxiety. That way you can be able to make your choices and decisions as you decide to do so for your own benefit of healing and restoring yourself, because really, in all truth, we're just trying to restore ourselves to our original purpose of why we came here, or why we're here. And of course, you're here to enjoy, have fun, and involve yourself with other people who are either like-minded or synergistically or simpatico, if you will, with where your design works and where you're going. And those are the people you're supposed to mend and conglomerate, but to come together and you're conglomerating with one another to bring about the changes that you need for your world. And collectively, we do those things together. So finding the right people to work with always brings out the best in the larger viewpoint for humanity and for society as a whole. So as you work on yourself, you're working on the tapestry of all human beings around you. The more work you do on yourself, the more help you provide for yourself, the better things will be for you and other people as well. So we try to make sure that we are dedicated to ourselves so that it reverberates to the rest of the world as well. But to be dedicated to yourself so that you can feel the change that you need to feel, and it just reverberates everywhere so that you feel it, then the people that you need will come around you as well like they're supposed to, and they'll be presented to you and with you whatever purpose that you guys endeavor to do. Other things that you can do throughout your day, when it comes to interpreting the energies, you have to interpret what works and what doesn't work. And that's the biggest problem a lot of people don't usually do, is that they are rushed and don't actually notice that some of the things that they might be doing is the reason why the results they're looking for aren't really good results. Or they get dismayed and they're not supposed to. Yeah, it may not have worked, but now you know, okay, well now I need to maneuver around that particular part and come back to it, figure out what's going on the way that I can, or where it's speaking to me at. I do believe on Wisdom I have a talk with Angelina Frost. Hi Angelina, I'm not sure if you're going to be saying this, but she's an amazing healer herself, and we were talking, and she just, she's really great at asking questions, I'll tell you that much as well. But we were really getting into a conversation about the healing process and how that works when it comes to stepping aside of your emotions and changing your frequency and the way that you deal with yourself and the things around you. And one of the things I shared was that what I normally do is that when it comes to doing this energy work that I'll do, I let the energy speak to me, because your energy speaks volumes and it tells you what it needs, what it doesn't need, and when it's ready for you and when it's not. So the same way that you're supposed to wait for those energies that are ready to be worked on to come forward in front of you to say, hey, work this out, X, Y, and Z, then that's what you do. They give you, you got to follow the instructions. It's pretty obvious when you're tapped in that the things that you need to do to kind of adhere to what works and what's better for you and to work those things in the right direction are evident. Maybe not to you, but to me, because I trial and error, but not even just trial and error. The silence is the best thing to do to get to where you can work on those things, because now you can hear the voices of those spaces that are speaking to you. If you don't do what is necessary for you in the silent, to be present, to be aware, to be transparent with yourself in reality, you can't fix those things. They become hidden, they become darkened. But once you become a listener of the silence and you start to listen to what's hidden or not aware to you, but that's not obvious to your sight, to your being, you start to realize, oh my God, I need to slow down, pay attention a little bit more. Okay, these things are reverberating something. Sensations are coming towards me. Sensations are coming on me, off me. What are these sensations doing? What are they teaching me? What are they saying to me? How do I mesh with them and not meddle with them, but mesh with them so that I can fix whatever's going on, because this is your reality. You can fix these things. It's just up to you to find the way that you're supposed to do that and adhere to the things that you're supposed to do to make sure they're getting worked out. And if you're patient enough with yourself and not rushing, you can get these things done. So it's when we rush through the process that we find ourselves in more tumultuous waters and more rougher connections with ourselves and the interpretation of the things that we're supposed to be doing. And that's when we need to slow back down, fix those things, and work on the things that are really meant to be worked on for us. Because if you don't do that, you'll be stuck with the same old thing you once were using and dealing with all the time. There are so many different ways that we can work on peace, but we have to work on being diligent about it without giving up, even when the process gets really rough. And yeah, I think about Eat, Pray, Love when she was in the meditation room and she got really upset. I think I wrote that down somewhere a long time ago, but she got really upset. She said, oh my God, I just can't take it. And the guy that always likes to mess with her, I had just actually watched the clip a couple days ago, and the guy that always loves to mess with her, it's like, oh, it looks like you having one of those kind of something days or something, and She's like, are you serious right now? And he's like, what is your problem? It's like you really are having a day. She's like, I can't think in this place. It's just I can't think. The only thing I can think about is how I'm gonna decorate my meditation room. And this man looks at her like, you said your meditation room? And it's the choosing and selecting of your thoughts. That's what he mentioned. It's like choosing the clothes you're gonna wear each and every day. When you slow down and you articulate what you're looking for, articulate what you're trying to have done, what you really mean, what the tapestry is speaking of when it speaks to you in your own sphere, your reality, and how you're able to calm those things down in your reality, you start to shift and change those things so that it works in your benefit. So that it works in your benefit and not to your pain. So now we're choosing what our reality will be like. Now we're choosing who we're going to be and what we're going to be, what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, when it's going to be and when it's not going to be. All those things become choices that we have in ourselves, in our reality, and now it shifts to the betterment of ourselves and what we're trying to manifest, materialize, manifest, and bring those things into reality to be materialized. So when you do these things at a certain pace, a slower pace, you can see things better. Time doesn't really have a place in the healing process. It's just when it's supposed to be. So you get rid of the concept of time and you worry about more in the infinite space of awareness. How am I healing myself? How am I healing my mind? How am I healing my energy, my feelings, my thoughts, my presence? Then when you get into that, you can slip in through these places and out of these places, but into these places more so easily than you once did before. So now you're more present, more coherent, more energetically free, and the frequency is exactly where you need it to be as well. So we keep balancing these different energies with the work that we're doing as well. But for now, because I want to keep this under 20 minutes, because this is a 20-minute video, and I promised that I would try to do my best not to make it a whole 30-minute video. Normally 15 minutes, but 20 minutes, we might do some editing and might cut down, but it's all good. But for now, don't rush. Take your time. Be patient. Be deliberate about what you're trying to do and what you want to do and how you want it done. And then you'll get the results you're looking for as well. And as we circle back around, as we circle through, my nephew's in here too. He doesn't want to say hi. Do you want to say hi, Roman?
No.
He doesn't want to say hi. But that's okay. In any case, as we get back to filling out what we need for ourselves and what we're supposed to be doing, we'll get more acclimated to solidifying the techniques that work for us, the things that need to be done to help us. Sitting longer in our present state is the most important thing we can do, because now when you're in the silence, you become more present, and now you become more calm, and now you become much more in control, and now you have more control of your peace, and now your peace lingers a lot longer, a lot better. It becomes much more fuller and fluent. So now you can use that energy to shift reality, to make things better, and to coat the things in your reality with the energy that you need from your present state. And we'll get more into materializing and things of that nature as well as we move forward. But these are things you can do to help materialize those things even faster, even better, by being more present. So we'll come back to this talk a little bit later on. I'm going to get ready to do a couple other things. So I thank you guys for your time, and I hope you have an awesome day. See ya.